The scream tore through the morning announcements like a blade, sharp and wrong, silencing the principal's droning voice over the intercom. I froze at my desk in third period English, my pencil hovering over a half-finished essay. The sound came again, high, jagged, not human. My classmates stirred, eyes darting to the door. Miss Carter, her glasses slipping down her nose, frowned and stepped toward the window. "Stay seated," she said, but her voice wavered. Outside, the sky was too dark for 9 a.m., a bruised purple swallowing the sun. I'm Jake, 17, a junior at Westview High in a nowhere town in Ohio. It was September 1, 2025, and I thought the worst thing I'd deal with that day was a pop quiz. I was wrong. The ground shook. Not an earthquake, something heavier, like the earth itself flinched. Glass shattered somewhere down the hall, followed by more screams, these ones cut short. Ms. Carter yanked the blinds shut, but not before I saw it. A shape, too tall, too thin, moving past the football field. It wasn't walking, it glided, limbs bending in ways they shouldn't. Its head, if you could call it that, was a writhing mass, like a nest of snakes caught in a storm. Lockdown. Ms. Carter hissed, fumbling with the door. She twisted the bolt just as something heavy slammed against it. The wood splintered but held. My best friend, Mia, grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. "Jake, what the hell is that?" she whispered. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My heart pounded so hard I thought it'd burst. The intercom crackled, but no voice came. Instead, a low, wet gurgle filled the speakers, like someone drowning in their own blood. Then, words, not English, not anything I'd heard before. They slithered into my head, cold and sharp, making my vision blur. Around me, kids clutched their ears, some crying, some staring blankly like they'd been unplugged. Ms. Carter grabbed a yardstick, her hands shaking. "Stay quiet," she mouthed, but it was pointless. The thing outside knew we were here. The door rattled again, harder, and the frame started to give. Mia pulled me toward the back of the room, where a supply closet stood half open. "In there," she whispered. I didn't argue. We crawled inside, squeezing between stacks of paper and dusty textbooks. Ethan, the kid who always sat alone, followed us, his face pale as bone. The closet door clicked shut just as the classroom door exploded inward. I pressed my eye to the keyhole. Miss Carter swung the yardstick like a bat, but it snapped against the thing that entered. It was taller than the doorway, its body a twisted mockery of human, skin like melted wax, arms too long, fingers ending in points that glistened. Its head turned, and I swear it looked right at me through the keyhole, even though it had no eyes. Just holes, endless and black, pulling at my mind. Miss Carter's scream was cut off by a wet crunch. I bit my fist to keep from yelling. Mia's hand clamped over Ethan's mouth as he started to whimper. The thing moved through the room, its movements jerky, like a puppet with half its strings cut. It didn't walk, it flowed, leaving a trail of something dark and slick on the floor. I heard desks overturning, papers tearing, and then, silence. We stayed in that closet for what felt like hours, breathing shallow, listening to the distant chaos. Screams echoed through the halls, mixed with sounds no animal could make, low, guttural, like the earth itself was retching. The air grew thick, heavy with a smell like rotting meat and burnt metal. My phone was useless, no signal, just a blank screen. Mia's was the same. Ethan clutched his, muttering about calling his mom, but it was dead too. "We can't stay here," Mia whispered finally. Her voice was steady, but her eyes were wild. "They'll find us." "They?" Ethan hissed. "What are they?" "I don't know," I said, "but we're not dying in a closet." We crept out. The classroom was a wreck, desks flipped, walls smeared with that dark, oily stuff. Miss Carter was gone, but a streak of blood led to the broken window. I didn't look too long. The hall was worse. Lockers were dented, some ripped open like tin cans. A shoe lay in a puddle of red, laces still tied. I recognized it, Katie's, from chem class. My stomach twisted, but I kept moving. Mia led the way, gripping a pair of scissors she'd found in the closet. Ethan trailed behind, clutching a heavy textbook like it'd save him. The school felt wrong, like the walls were breathing, the air pressing down on us. We made it to the stairwell, aiming for the basement. It was our best shot, fewer windows, fewer ways in. Halfway down, we heard it, a skittering, like claws on tile, coming from above. I glanced up. Dozens of them, smaller than the first, but no less wrong. Crawled along the ceiling, their bodies twitching, mouths opening and closing with needle-like teeth. Mia yanked me forward, and we ran, shoes slipping on the stairs. Ethan tripped, his textbook hitting the ground with a thud. The things froze, then surged toward us. "Move!" I shouted, hauling Ethan up. We hit the basement door and slammed it shut, wedging a pipe through the handle. The creatures crashed against it, their claws scraping, their voices, those horrible, not human voices, chattering in that language that burned my brain. The basement was dark, lit only by flickering emergency lights. It was the old part of the school, all concrete and rusted pipes. We found the boiler room, a maze of machinery and shadows. Mia checked the corners, scissors raised. "We hide here," she said. "Wait it out." "For what?" Ethan snapped, his voice cracking. "No one's coming. You saw the sky." "Shut up," I said, harsher than I meant. "We're alive. That's enough for now." We crouched behind a massive boiler, its hum masking our breathing. Time blurred. My legs cramped, but I didn't move. Mia kept watch, her knuckles white around the scissors. Ethan rocked back and forth, whispering to himself. I tried to think, about my mom, my little brother, the dog I'd left chewing a sock that morning. Were they safe? Was anywhere safe? A noise broke my thoughts, a low, rhythmic thumping, like a heartbeat. It wasn't the boiler. It was coming from deeper in the basement. Mia's eyes met mine, and I knew she heard it too. "Stay here," I whispered, but she shook her head. "No way. We stick together." Ethan didn't argue. He followed, clutching his book like a lifeline. We moved toward the sound, past rusted pipes and puddles that smelled like decay. The thumping grew louder, joined by a wet, sucking noise. We turned a corner and stopped dead. It was massive, bigger than the others, crouched in the center of a storage room. Its body pulsed, veins glowing faintly under translucent skin. Around it, bodies, students, teachers, janitors, lay in heaps, their skin gray, eyes open but empty. The thing was, feeding, its limbs piercing their chests, drawing out something that wasn't blood but shimmered like oil. I gagged, and Ethan whimpered. The thing's head snapped toward us, its face splitting open to reveal a maw of writhing tendrils. Mia grabbed us both, pulling us back behind a stack of crates. My heart pounded so loud I was sure it could hear it. The thumping stopped, replaced by a slow, deliberate scrape, like it was dragging itself toward us. "We have to move," Mia whispered, her voice barely audible. "Now." We ran, weaving through the basement, the thing scraping growing louder behind us. We found a maintenance hatch, rusted but unlocked. Mia pried it open, and we crawled through, emerging in the school's parking lot. The air outside was thick, the sky still that unnatural purple. Cars were overturned, some burning. The ground was cracked, like something had clawed its way up from below. We sprinted toward the woods behind the school, the only cover we could see. The thing burst through the hatch behind us, its body unfolding into something even worse, legs sprouting like a spider's, its head splitting wider. I didn't look back again. Mia's hand was in mine, pulling me forward. Ethan stumbled but kept up, his breath ragged. The woods were dense, branches tearing at our clothes. We didn't stop until we reached a clearing, collapsing behind a fallen tree. The thing scraping had stopped, but I could still feel it, like it was inside my head, waiting. "We can't stay here," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "It's not just one. There's more." "Shut up," Mia snapped, but she looked scared too. I peered over the log. The school was visible through the trees, its windows glowing faintly, like eyes. Shapes moved inside, too many to count. The ground rumbled again, and I realized Ethan was right. This wasn't over. Hours passed. We stayed hidden, barely speaking. The sky didn't change, and no help came, no sirens, no helicopters, nothing. My phone stayed dead. Mia kept her scissors ready, her eyes scanning the trees. Ethan stopped talking altogether, just staring at the ground. At dusk, or what should have been dusk, something moved in the distance. Not the big one, but smaller, faster. It darted between trees, its body low, like a dog but wrong. Mia tensed, but I grabbed her arm. "Don't," I whispered. "It hasn't seen us." It moved closer, sniffing the air. Its head was featureless except for a single, glistening eye. I held my breath, praying Ethan wouldn't move. He didn't. The thing paused, then turned, slinking back toward the school. "We need a plan," Mia said once it was gone. "We can't just hide forever." "There's a gas station a mile down the road," I said. "Maybe a phone works there. Or a car." Ethan shook his head. "You saw what they did to the parking lot. Nothing's working." "We try anyway," Mia said. "Or we die here." We waited until the thing was out of sight, then moved, keeping low. The woods felt alive, branches snapping too close, shadows shifting where they shouldn't. The gas station was farther than I remembered, and when we reached it, my heart sank. The pumps were torn apart, the store's windows shattered. A body lay near the door, Mr. Jenkins, the clerk, his chest caved in. Mia checked the store while I kept watch. She came back with a crowbar and a half-dead flashlight. "No phones," she said. "But there's a truck out back. Keys are inside." The truck was old, rusted, but the engine turned over. I drove, Mia in the passenger seat, Ethan in the back. The road was empty, littered with abandoned cars. The sky stayed that awful purple, and the air felt heavier, like it was pushing us down. We made it 3 miles before the engine sputtered. I cursed, slamming the wheel, but then I saw it, a glow on the horizon, not like the schools, but warm, human. Lights. A town, maybe. Hope flickered, but it was fragile. "Keep going," Mia said. "On foot if we have to." We climbed out, the crowbar in Mia's hand, the flashlight in mine. Ethan trailed behind, clutching his book. The glow was farther than it looked, and the ground started to shake again, harder this time. I turned, and my blood went cold. They were coming. Dozens of them, spilling from the woods, their bodies twisting, their voices merging into that horrible, mind-scraping chant. The big one was there too, its pulsing body towering over the rest. "Run!" I shouted, but Ethan froze, staring at them. Mia grabbed him, but he yanked free, dropping his book. "I can't," he said, his voice hollow. "They're in my head." Before I could move, he walked toward them, arms limp, like he was being pulled. The big one's tendrils shot out, wrapping around him. He didn't scream. He just dissolved, his body collapsing into that shimmering oil. Mia pulled me away, tears streaming down her face. We ran, the glow ahead our only guide. The things followed, their scraping and chattering filling the air. My legs burned, my lungs screamed, but I didn't stop. Neither did Mia. The glow was a town, small, maybe 100 houses, lights flickering in windows. We reached the edge, banging on the first door we saw. An old man answered, his face pale, a shotgun in his hands. "Get inside," he said, not asking questions. The house was packed, people from town, some from other schools, all wide-eyed and whispering. They'd seen the things too. The old man barred the door, but the ground kept shaking. The chanting was louder now, closer. Mia gripped my hand, her scissors still clutched in the other. "We made it," she said, but her voice was empty. I looked out the window. The glow of the town was fading, swallowed by that purple sky. Shapes moved in the distance, too many, too fast. The old man cocked his shotgun, but I knew it wouldn't matter. They were here. And they weren't stopping.